Hey, good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's course. We are going to discuss about Java data types, conditions, operators, and loops. It's a very packed schedule. Let's get started. Data types. What is data type? It's an attribute of data which tells the Java compiler or the JVM what type of data we are going to store. On the left hand side, you can see broadly, I can classify these primitive data types into four categories. One is integer category, byte, short, int, and long. Byte, short, int, and long. They store the integer values. Long stores the longest integer value. If you want to hold a longest integer value, define it as a long. If you want to have a small integer value, define the data type as a byte. Float and double stores the decimal kind of information. Boolean, true or false, character, a single character. There are primitive, these are all primitive data types. There are non-primitive data types also in Java. These are predominantly objects, but for our context, let's focus on primitive data type. Let's look at it from four different aspects, how they are different than non-primitive data type. Definition, these are primitive data types are defined, predefined in the JDK. So once we are running the JDK, we create a Java program and compile it using Java C. These are implicit, means they are available for the programmer to use it right away. You can say hello world and public static void main and int I equal to 10. Whereas non-primitive data types, it's not like that. We need to first create the object, so they are different. In the memory usage, primitive data type uses less memory. Initialization, they initialize to default value int I. If we define I, the value of I is 0, whereas for non-primitive types, they are the value of I will become null. Operations wise, on the primitive data types, there are no methods because they are not classes. So the goal of this presentation is, especially this slide, is for you to introduce primitive data types and non-primitive data types. Focus is on the primitive data type and just try to know these names. We are going to do a hands-on coding session in this part of video so that you will know more details. Variables. Variables must be adhered to certain rules in the Java programming language. A variable name must begin with a letter, dollar sign, or underscore. Example, here int is the data type, count is the variable. Double is the data type, underscore salary is the variable. Variable names are case sensitive, means if we define int quote, int count in the small letters versus int capital C count, those two are different because Java is a case sensitive language. Here we give example my var and my var and my var. These three are three different variables if we define it. So Java treats them as different. Variable names cannot contain the keywords. Can you guess what are the keywords in this line? Int or count? If you guessed int, that is correct because they are predefined by the JDK. So they are available in the JDK by Java. So this is a predefined variable or Java keyword. We cannot use int. Java compiler will throw us an error when we compile that program using Java C. There is no limit on the length of the variable name. Here is the count is the variable name. If you want to define a very lengthy name, there is no limit, but the best practice is make sure that it is within the limits of whatever you define in your organization, the length of the variable. But as far as Java is concerned, they don't care really. The program will be compiled easily. Use meaningful names. These are best practices. If you say double temperature, that's a good because you are saying that hey, this temperature variable is going to hold the temperature information. If you define double T, Java C compiler when you run, it is not going to throw the error, but better we avoid because after 5 years you wrote a program say that hey double T and you left the company or somebody is managing it or you got promoted, somebody is managing it and they will say hey what T means, right? So better to be explicit and detailed because as we know there is no length, there is no limit on the length of the variable. Follow camel case convention. Int number of students. Here you can see n is small, o and s are in capital. This is the Java style of defining the variables. So for the past 10 years, a lot of people follow the same style and they take pride defining these variables also. Let's move on to the next section, that is conditions. Conditions play a crucial role in controlling the flow of Java program. If statement, if is one of the conditions. Here you can see in the code snippet, we define the variable x, int x equal to 10. Here we are having this condition check, is x greater than 10. If x greater than 10, execute this block. There is another condition, else if. Here what we are doing is, here we are checking the condition y greater than 0, then Java execute this block. If else if y less than 0, Java execute this block, else execute this block. Can you guess when this block is going to be executed? If you guessed when y equal to 0, then you are good. If not, that's fine. We are going to write a program, and in the program at least we will run it and I will explain you in detail, then you should be able to answer it. The next and the last condition is ternary operator, int a equal to 10, string result. This is like a if else kind of scenario. This ternary operator is. This is the condition. This is the, if the condition is true, this block executes. If condition is false, this block executes. We will achieve this using question mark and colon. So just to quickly wrap it up, there are three things. One if, another is else if, and there is ternary operator. Next one is operators. What are operators in Java? These perform operations on operands. So arithmetic operators, if int I equal to 5, int j equal to 10, if we want to add those two, we say I plus j. So this addition operator will add two operands. Like that, we have multiplication, division, and all those things. There are other relational operators. If you want to compare two variables, let's say int I equal to 10 and j equal to 20, you will compare using the if condition. If I equal to j, means this is, you can see here, it is not 1 equal to, it's a double equal to. 1 equal to is an assignment, means int I equal to 10 means you are assigning the value of 10 to I. If you use double equal to, you are checking the condition. It's a relational operator. There are some logical operators also, like double and double pipe. I will give you example. In the previous slide you saw the example, if I equal to I greater than 10, execute this block, right? If you want to do two things, if I greater than 10 and j less than 10, then do that. During that scenario, you use this operator. Instance of operator, we can ignore this because this is more on not primitive data types. This is more on the classes and objects, so we can ignore that. And assignment operator. Already we saw the assignment operator. Int I equal to 10, there equal to is the assignment operator. This additional assignment, addition assignment means we are incrementing the value and assigning it. So we'll get to that in our example, coding example. There are some bitwise operators also. These are all these operators will work on the integer, so we will discuss about it, I think, in our example program. Let's focus on other aspects. These bitwise operators are used compared to all these things very rarely, they, based on the, of course, the use case. Loops, these are the fundamental constructs of the programming language. Broadly, there are 1, 2, 3 loops: for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Here in the for loop, we are doing three things in this line. One is initialization, initializing the variable I, then condition, we are checking the variable, and we are incrementing it. Here in the while loop, we are initializing outside, we are checking the condition, we are incrementing it. In the do while loop, we are initializing it, first we are executing the code and incrementing it, then we are checking the condition. There are some situations where we use do while versus for, but in these two, most of the time people use for loop, but there are some specific use cases where we will be using this. But to wrap it up, in the loops slide, there are broadly three: for loop, while loop, and do while loop. That's it from our content wise. Now let's go back to our code. Hope you remember this Visual Studio Code that we downloaded and installed along with the JDK in the previous session. I already wrote this program for our convenience so that we can save some time and wrap this Java 1 hour course on time. So let's get into this and see what we are doing in this program. So as you know, always Java or JVM starts executing from the line from the main method. This is a very interesting line. Here you see slash slash, right? What happens when I remove it? It is throwing some error. This means what we are trying to do is we are instructing the JVM say that, hey, this is a comment. Don't execute it or don't try to interpret it. This is a single line comment in Java. Good, we learned one more new thing. So here on the line number 6, we are assigning a value 5 to the variable a of data type int. Like that, we are assigning bunch of things. Here we are performing the arithmetic operations like sum a plus b. This is the arithmetic operator. Minus is another, and here we are printing that information, right? System.out.println will print the information. Let's run this. So what I will do is I will comment this section. These are the single line comments. Do you know how we comment multiple lines? We use slash star to start the block and star slash to end the block. So whenever Java JVM sees this, it will not execute this. Okay, now let's get back to our program. Here we performed some arithmetic operations and we are outputting it. Let's run. You remember how we run? We run in two ways. In Visual Studio Code, right click run, or here there is a run value. Let's run. Let's see what output came. Okay, it says sum is 18. Let's go back. What is sum? Sum is a plus b. What is a plus b? A is 5, b is 13. So sum is 18. Like that, these arithmetic operators, using arithmetic operators, we assign these variables. All these things are executed. So the arithmetic operators, this is the way we use it, like how we assign the variable. Like that, we can do the arithmetic operators and assign to a variable that information, and we will output using this. Now let's focus on conditional and increments, right? In our slides, we discussed about if and else if. Let's run this one. Okay. Now let's look at it. So our a value is 5 and b value is 13. When the Java process comes, it evaluates if a greater than b, it's false. So it comes to else if part, it checks is b greater than a. That's true. So it prints this information. Here you can see b is greater than a. That's good. The conditional statements also we tested. Here we are going to test the increments, right? Here we are assigning the value int I equal to 5. Int is the data type, I is the variable, 5 is the value. We are just printing the value. Here we are incrementing. I plus plus means 5, I becomes 6 here. Plus plus means. So here we need to be able to see 6. That's good. Here what we are doing is we are decrementing it. Here we see it as again 5. Great. So we are now progressing to the last section, which is nothing but loops. Here there are two loops that we outlined. One is while loop and another is for loop. In the while loop we are doing the initialization. Here we are doing the condition check. We are incrementing it. What do you guys think? What will be the output of this? It starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 less than 5. That's false. Then the control or JVM will not execute it. It will come out. So it has to be 0 to 4. What about this? Here we it's a k equal to 0, k less than 5. Here also it starts with 0, 1, 2, 3 because we are incrementing it here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 less than 5, false, so it comes out. So we are expecting j value 0 to 4, k value 0 to 4. Let's run and see. Here we are. Congratulations, folks. Successfully, we are able to complete this coding example. What I do is I'm going to share the code what you saw there. I'm going to make sure it's available to the users or for the students. I will put it in the comment section or in the description section so that you can take it and execute it. If you have any difficulty, as always, you can comment it or you can write to me. I will be very happy to help you. And let's quickly review the today's section. We started with the data types. We discussed about primitive data types and what are variables and what are the best practices. And the conditions wise, what are the different conditions, if, else if, and the ternary operator. The operation side, arithmetic, relational, logical, assignment, and bitwise operators. And the loops wise, for loop, while, and do while loop. Great. You learned so much of information today. It may be overwhelming, but take your time. If you need to review this video again and again, please do that based on your style. Increase the speed and review it. If you have any questions, please write back or comment. I'll be happy to help you. If you can like or subscribe, that will be great help for me and the YouTube algorithm. Bye for now.